I've got the final design in front of us here with the 3 containers all done up with the flowers in. So this is what we are aiming to make this evening. And we're going to break it down and we're going to do it 1 container at a time. So I'm going to move this out of the way so that you can see what I'm doing. So the elf is going to move. I'm going to move the design down here. There we go. Okay. So in your bag of goodies, you should have 3 containers with burlap on them. You should have a burlap runner, which is what we're going to use to display them on when we're finished. So each container, we're going to basically do the same thing in each container. First of all, you need a couple inches of water, just enough to keep the greens fresh. And of course, I'm in all 3. So we're ready to go. We're going to start with the greens. Everybody has a bag of greens. Pop open that bag of greens and you're going to find a selection of spruce, juniper, cedar, and white pine. And there's a little bit of euonymus in there, which is a broadleaf evergreen. So pull out some greens, a selection of each. Grab your scissors or your clippers. You can use either. And what we're going to do in this little container is we're going to create a very small design. So cut your greens so that they're maybe no more than about 5 inches. And the beauty of the chicken wire, this is what's inside each one of those, is this piece of chicken wire, which I scrunched all up and I created a chicken wire ball. And that's what is stuffed into each of the containers. This is a very nice green way of designing because you can reuse the chicken wire. You can just unscrunch it, rechange it. The idea is to get away from using Oasis, which is not very environmentally friendly and doesn't biodegrade. Even the biodegradable Oasis still takes a long time to completely deteriorate. So simple chicken wire is an excellent way to go. It's sort of what is old is new again, because I'm sure our grandparents used things like chicken wire to create these little nests to hold materials. So each of your greens, trim them down. In the case of spruce, take the bottom leaves off so that the bottom leaves aren't in the water. And you're just going to start and turn your container around and add some little bits of greens as you go, mixing it up so that you don't have all the same greens in the same spot in the containers. So we're just going to slowly turn the containers and add greens. That's the first step in doing the design. This is designed to be used on a tabletop, on a coffee table, because really it is going to be visible all the way around. So you're going to evenly put your greens so that when you look down on it, there's just a nice collection of greens all the way around. Going to put a little more cedar in. And the beauty of this is that you will actually get the scent off of these greens on your dining room table, on your coffee room table. You could put this on a mantle, as long as it's not too warm. If you are wanting to use this on a mantle, I wouldn't put it on the mantle till just a day or 2 before Christmas. Mantles tend to get warm, the heat tends to rise, and it will dry out the greens. So What we're doing is just tucking bits of greens into the container. The broadleaf euonymus is just another, it's not evergreen, but it stays green for most of the winter. You can trim them down. All of this stuff is either out of my garden or from just a short walk around my property. I trimmed down a juniper tree, so we've got lots of juniper. And a few trees on the driveway that needed to be shaped somewhat. So they're the first ones I go to every winter is to trim them down as I go to the driveway trees and trim them down so that the driveway's passable. So what we're doing is, I'm gonna come around here so you can see this a little closer. We're just putting a mixture of greens, just randomly placed in the container. Pine, cedar, spruce, juniper, and a little bit of euonymus. So just slowly fill up the container, and we're going to do that 3 times. This is a very, very simple design. It's actually what is known as a mass design because it's even all the way around. It's a mixture of materials. It's a rather old style, simple design. Some of you may have in your bags some berries on your juniper if you're lucky. Lots of berries on all the evergreens this year. I'm not sure whether that's a good sign or not. Usually the sign of a fairly hard winter. So I'm just going to add one more little piece of pine in there, and I'm going to call that one basically done. So that's step 1. So we're going to do that 3 times. They don't have to be identical. You're just going to mix up the greens, tuck them into the chicken wire. The chicken wire allows you to be able to kind of control a little bit what direction things go in, so they don't all kind of clump together. So a little bit of cedar, just clean off the bottom edges so that it's easy to tuck it in behind the chicken wire. The spruce, take the needles off the bottoms. Otherwise, the water gets kind of mucky in a hurry. What else I got in here? Oh, there's some more pine. Just a quick snip on the bottom of the pine. So we're basically doing 3 little tiny mass arrangements. And then we're going to link them together using the lights. The use of light in a design makes it an illumination design where the lights become part of the actual design and help to carry your eye through your design. And the illumination design is a fairly new design that has been added to the.
Oops, Margaret dropped out. Where am I? Where am I?
A little bit of juniper berry. I'm going to tuck it in. Just going to turn this around. A little bit more cedar. Tiny little bit more spruce. Now, these containers are just drinking water glasses, which I have glued the burlap to. So you could use any size of container to do designs like this. If you have a particular spot where you could use slightly larger containers, same principle. You just keep adding your greens to make sure that you have a nice, even arrangement all the way around. You haven't bunched all the cedar in one spot. That's another type of design. If you wanted to do a modern mass design, we would be bunching our evergreens all together. But I think this lends itself really well to a nice, simple table design that is low enough that you're not trying to look over the design on the table when you're talking to whoever's across the table from you. So just a little bit more cedar in that one. And there we go. So we just keep working away. That one over there. Pull into my little bag of goodies here. So there's some more juniper. The juniper makes nice filler because it's small and it fills in spaces. And berries are actually quite lovely. Now, juniper is a little bit prickly on the hands. If you have any evergreen allergies, it's likely juniper would be the one that might give you a bit of grief. There we go. Fine. More spruce. Pull the needles off. And some of the cedar this year is just loaded with berries as well. Not only are there a lot of berries on the spruce trees, but the cedar trees seem to be loaded down with cedar berries. So we will see what kind of a winter we have. It's looking a bit like it might be a green Christmas unless things change suddenly in the next few days. Green Christmases make for easy driving, but not quite as picturesque. So we're just gonna keep working away. Just keep adding it till you're happy with how full the arrangement is. And then we get to the fun part of adding the baubles. And I've given you a selection of different baubles to try. You may even have some of your own small baubles. The one thing is that the decorations have to fit the scale. Scale is very important when we talk about floral designing, that when you add something to a design, it looks like it's in the right proportion, the right scale. I've given you all very tiny ornaments for a very good reason, because if you put large ornaments in a small design, this would be a small design, it's under 10 inches. It would look out of scale. It would look disproportionate. It might look top heavy. So the idea is when you do add things to a design, be it flowers or be it ornaments, that they have to be in scale so things don't look disproportionately large or small. If you were doing a large mass arrangement, a big greenery arrangement, then we would use full-size flowers and we might use full-size ornaments and it would look in scale. Okay, how is everyone doing? I'm just going to add a little tiny bit more here and then see how we're doing. A little bit of euonymus. Now, if you're lucky enough to have holly, which I don't think grows here, fresh holly in this would be very, very nice. So you could possibly get some fresh holly from possibly a florist to add in. I did not bring any back in my suitcase. I did not bring back any Western cedar this year either. I didn't have room in my suitcases and I wasn't going to pay for another suitcase just to bring cedar home, although it's in limited supply here in Ontario. Okay. So here is Oz number 3. Okay, just a nice mixture of the different greens, the different textures, the fine needles, the bushiness of the juniper, the flat but slightly different shape and texture of the cedar. The idea with texture in design is the different textures, your eye follows different textures and the shapes of the different textures. So texture is one of the things we talk about in design as well. We talk about things being in scale. We talk about things having a proportionately right size container to your arrangement. We talk about color, of course, and we will get to the color part. Right now, we're just doing what is the base of the arrangement. And in just about any style of arrangement, you want to get your basic shape defined using your greenery, and then you can use your color to add color to make it more distinct, to create a movement of your eye through a design known as rhythm. We'll also use the lights for rhythm here. So there we go. We have 3 little green arrangements sitting there, looking a little plain, but that's okay. We will very shortly make them a little more festive. I'm just going to clean my excess greenery. And you've got lots of extra greenery if you want to make something else out of it in another container. Chicken wire, you can get small rolls of chicken wire at the dollar stores in the craft aisle. And you can also, of course, get it at hardware stores, etc. I had the benefit of one of our members, Rhonda Evans, donated a great big roll of extra chicken wire she had. So I cut it up into approximately 1 foot squares to work into these glasses. I'm enjoying some shortbread. Now we have a number of different types of ornaments, and I will leave it to each of you to decide how many you want to put in or what color you want to put in. These little Christmas balls are just the right size so that they aren't too big for the arrangement. And you have, I think, 9 there, so you can put 3 in each of them. And the idea is to just pop them in so that they kind of peek out from different sides of the arrangement, because this is going to be on a table where people are going to see it from both sides.
Andy,
Unless, of course, Howard.
You're getting, everybody is still working on their greens.
Okay, well then I will slow down. Everybody's the size of a postage stamp, so I can't really see. So I'm going to sip on my coffee for a minute or two while you guys get caught up with your greens. And I'm going to check the chat box here. Oh, Gwen Hunsinger. Oh, Gwen is telling me she has fresh holly. Okay, Gwen. I may take you up on that offer. Gwen lives on Highway 32. She must have a little microclimate around her house if she is able to get holly to grow, because it is kind of touch and go here. I have tried it a couple of times and I haven't had any luck growing true holly. I've grown Mahonia, which is a sort of false holly, and I have grown the Canadian holly, which is the ilex that you see growing on the sides of the roads. I didn't include ilex in this design because the ilex berries, if they fall off indoors onto a table or onto a tablecloth, they will stain. So only use the Canadian holly, the ilex berries, in outdoor arrangements. Don't bring them in the house because they will create a bit of a mess. But yes, a little bit of fresh holly would be a nice addition to this type of a design. Okay, our folks coming along with their greens there.
We could have people put up their hand when they got their greens done.
Yeah, that would be helpful. If you finished, put up your hand so Howard can see.
1, 2, 3, 4. Yep. Yep, there's another one. 5. 5 out of 14.
Okay, I have the advantage of I've done this so many times that cutting and snipping is just kind of second nature.
Have another shortbread.
Have another shortbread. The elf will eat another shortbread. So you could go out and trim up shrubs and find enough stuff. Frequently, you sometimes see people who have trimmed trees and they're out in the on the curb for pickup. I have been known to drive around and look for stuff and stop and fill my car up full of greens. I figure it's just, you know, helping folks out, cutting down on what's going to go to the recycling center. Blue spruce is another lovely one, and I did not see any blue spruce on the roadside this year. Last year in our designs, we used some blue spruce, but that was because somebody on Glengarry Avenue had put out 3/4 of a spruce tree, and I brought home at least 2 trunk loads.
Penny, where did you buy these cute little wooden ornaments?
The cute little wooden ornaments are from the dollar store, Dollarama. They come in a little box, and I think there's 40 of them in a box. And what I did was I just took very simple, very fine wire, and I just cut 6-inch lengths, and I just hand wired all the ornaments for you.
Thank you for all this work, Penny.
Well, it's so much easier when you do a workshop to get a package where things are ready to be used. Otherwise, you spend a great deal of time fiddling with things like wiring up ornaments or putting baubles on barbecue skewers. So I was running a little bit of an elf assembly line in my basement, and I just went through and did enough for all 17 of each thing, and it makes it a little more fun in a workshop. If we were doing this live and we had, we were all sitting around, then I maybe would have left you to do some of the fiddly wiry work, but I figured I would save the time so that, but yes, the dollar store is a great source of ornaments, ribbons, bows. You can buy all of this. I always say, you should be able to put something together for Christmas that's cheerful, that's relatively inexpensive, and you can make it fun. This is the type of thing you could do with I think a school-age child could easily stick pieces of greenery in a piece of chicken wire and add some ornaments and add a bow, that sort of thing. So if you have grandkids over the holidays, the beauty of this is you can change it up for New Year's. If you want to emphasize maybe the gold colors, you could change the baubles up to all be gold and put all white flowers in and make it very fancy New Year's-y.
I think everybody's caught up.
We're all caught up. And if you aren't, don't worry, you can take some time. We'll just, the idea was to show you how to do this. So the baubles, as I was saying, are dollar store baubles, barbecue skewers, little dollar store baubles stuck on the skewers. And the idea is to add 2 or 3 to each container, so that no matter what vantage, whether it's whoever's sitting at the table is going to see a little bit in each container from where they're sitting. So you want them at different heights slightly, basically dispersed. I'm missing one out of this one. Can't find it anywhere. I'm sure it's in the back of my car. I will be cleaning glitter dust out of my car for forever and a day. The other ornaments I included were the little wooden ones, which are on the wire, which again are a nice size. They're the right scale. They aren't going to stand out. They're going to blend in. And there's a little cardinal sitting up on the greenery. And there's Frosty the Snowman. Now, you could also paint these if there was a specific color. You could put a touch of gold paint on these little tiny ornaments would be nice. So the idea is just to add the little balls and kind of disperse them. And then we're going to add our little wooden people. Oh, there's even a gingerbread person. I think there's stars, there's reindeer. They came in an assortment in a little tiny wooden box with all these different shapes in it. The wire, as I say, dollar store craft wire. Nothing too exotic here. If you get into designing on heavier designs, then you may need floral quality wire if you're dealing with a lot of weight. But for things like this, just very fine crafting wire will work really, really well. Now, the glittery stuff, put in as much as you like. Some people like glitter. Some people aren't crazy about glitter. So I will let you glitter up your containers with as much glitter as you like. Now, if you have cats, this glittery stuff likely attracts cats and it's not good for them. So you might want to keep that in mind if you're going to have cats hanging around the table. So the idea is the glittery little sticks, just, you know, your eye's going to catch the glitter. It's going to carry your eye up out of the greens a bit. Kind of gives it a bit of a sparkly, fireworksy kind of effect, but it's not so tall and so heavy that it's going to interfere with the design or be too dominant. When you do a design, sometimes you want something in the design that is dominant, that is eye-catching, but you have to be careful that you don't add things that are so dominant that they take away from the overall design. So it's kind of a fine balance. There's a little bit of gold glitter. I have a pet vacuum, which is really good because it's not bad at picking up glitter either. So we add some glitter, we add a few ornaments. And it's starting to look a little different, isn't it? Now we have something for our eye to follow. We have the lovely greens, but we also have the ornaments. So your eye tends to follow through the design, looking at all the little ornaments, and it's that eye motion, which is called rhythm. So in a good design, there will be rhythm. Your eye will move through at ease. You often see judges will comment about the rhythm, either positively to say, wonderful rhythm, the eye moves beautifully through the design, or they may say, the rhythm was broken up by too much of something or too little of something. You can create rhythm with materials that have lines. You can also create rhythm just by having repetition of material so that your eye carries through the design. So what else did we include in my glitter package? Oh, glittery balls. Gold and red. Again, pick and choose what you think is going to fit your decor, whether you want to focus on gold, whether you want to focus on red. In Victorian times, a lot of designing was done in shades of pink and almost burgundy, as opposed to true red. It is quite lovely to see a Christmas design done in burgundies and pinks. But I stuck with red. It's pretty traditional. The materials are easy to find. I did not see any burgundy ornaments or pink ornaments, so to speak. There are a few colors out there, turquoise, purple. You know, you can really basically just pick what suits your decor, what suits your taste. So I'm just sticking a little bit of the glittery balls in. I'm taking any extras off the bottom, just slide them off. I'm going to toss them to one side. Again, not good for cats or dogs to ingest. So I will set them to one side. Oh, there's one more. And again, there should be roughly roughly, I kind of gave you 3 of everything. We tend to work in 1, 3, 5 frequently when you're putting things into designs, because that is a pleasing, it's a very pleasing pattern to the eye, is seeing 3 of something or 5 of something in a design. If you put 4, your eye doesn't seem to move the same way through a design. So I went with the 3 or 5. So all you're doing is popping in a bit of the glitter. There we go. I put in some of the little balls to give it a little bit of height, a little bit of glitter, our little snowman. Sets it off. It's starting to look like a little winter scene. Now these greens should keep well into the new year. The carnations, you should get a week to 10 days out of them. If they start to look a little peaky, pull them out and then just go and buy a couple of stems of carnations and freshen them up. Definitely may want to freshen them up by New Year's. So once we get all the cute glittery stuff in, then we'll talk about bows. We'll do a quick how-to lesson on how to make bows. I'll let Howard check there and see how folks are doing on the glittery stuff.
They're still stuffing things in.
Okay, good. Well, that's half the fun of this. Half the fun of this is to sip on your tea and stuff things in. And the beauty of a little design like this is you could do up just a single one of these, right? It's the perfect little hostess gift for a neighbor. Just something to be cheerful. You wouldn't have to do 3. You could just do 1. Add a nice bow on it. Makes a lovely little gift for someone. Back in the day, I think Joan will tell you when she was researching, she found the information out on. We used to make very small designs. We made them in tuna cans. And they were wrapped in ribbon. Basically what we're doing here, they were done in little tuna cans and they went out to anyone who was shut in or was going to be alone at Christmas. And that was done for, years and years and years until the group called Sale sort of no longer was in the business. And then we discontinued that program. And what we started up was basically this program, which is every Christmas offering our members the chance to come and make something cheerful for Christmas and to turn it into a little bit of a social event. And last year and this year, it's been a Zoom event. And thanks to people like Howard, who has the IT expertise, we are very, very fortunate at the Gann Hort Society that we have been able to continue on and keep going for the last 2 years and keep people's interest up and give people fun things to do. Jordan's on tonight. Jordan's our videographer. She and her mom are responsible for putting together all those YouTube videos that we are now becoming so famous for. There's very few societies that have a YouTube channel like ours. Our Facebook group has been another great way we've reached out to people to keep people in communication and to let the community know what we're doing. We've been very, very fortunate that we have had the people with the skills to do the technical stuff to allow us to keep moving and keep doing things. No, not everybody can participate in Zoom, but it is at least has allowed us to reach out to a lot of people by using Zoom, by using Facebook, and by using YouTube. So we've made the best of what has not been a great situation these last 2 years. And I'm not getting a warm, fuzzy feeling about the numbers we're seeing coming out right now either. So we may be at Zooming for a bit longer than anticipated, but we've got January. We're not going to do anything. We're going to take a month off, which is unusual for us, but we've decided that would be a good thing to do in January. February, March, we have our guest speakers all lined up. They are all set to go via Zoom. April, we are hoping that we will be able to get back live again and do things in person, but we will see. Okay, the next step in this little design is dealing with ribbon and putting bows in. So I've given you a choice of either gold bows or red bows or both bows, whatever suits you. In your package, you should have some very fine wire. I think it's silver in color. So we're going to use that really fine wire to make bows. So I'm going to step a little closer to the camera so that you can see this. There's our piece of ribbon. You're going to fold it in half, like so. Piece of wire in the other hand. You're going to make little loops, about 1.5 inches. And you're just going to go back and forth. And you're going to make about 6 or 8 little loops, like so. And you'll leave the tails out. So there's our little grouping. We've gone back and forth. The little piece of wire goes around the center, like so. And then you're going to pull it. And then you're going to twist the wire. And you always twist in to the bow. That will tighten the wire up. And then what you have is just a little, very simple little bow. And so this applies no matter what size the ribbon is. And then you can just fluff it up as you see fit. Like so. And you've got a little bow. So even if you're using great big 2-inch ribbon, I use the same theory. If you want to make a big bow for a wreath or a door swag, I start with about 6 feet of ribbon, fold it in half, and I do the same thing. Even fine ribbon like the gold ribbon that I tucked in there, it's the same thing. Fold it in half, hold it, and make little loops back and forth. And like anything else, this gets easier with practice. But the idea is just to give you some techniques tonight that you can try. So back and forth. This fine ribbon is a little more difficult. Hold it in the center. Snip off a piece of wire. Pull it around. twist it into itself, twist the two wires together, but twisting inward. And we end up with the bow. So I'm going to give you a few minutes to make some bows. Try one of each for now, anyhow. And then we can add the bows to your arrangement. Now, if you're not a fan of gold, just leave the gold ribbon to one side. Don't worry about it. And there's the red. I pre-made some of mine. And some lucky person there got their gold bows all pre-done in their package because I literally ran out of gold ribbon. So I went and took the 3 gold bows off the original prototype that I did a month ago and tucked those into a package. It's always a little tricky trying to guess how much material do you buy in advance when you're not sure how many people are going to sign up. We put a limit of 20 on and we've got 17. So it means some of the materials I was getting pretty close to the wire by the time I finished. And the trick with Christmas stuff is you literally have to be out in November in the dollar stores the minute they're unpacking things. Otherwise, it all vanishes. I had to, in November, go to 5 different dollar stores before I could get enough little Twinkie lights to find 20 strings of Twinkie lights. So I think illumination designs must be very, very popular this year, or people have found 1,000,001 things to do with Twinkie lights. So work away on your ribbons there for a minute while I sip on my latte. Now, there's a couple schools of thoughts on bows in arrangements. Some people say no bows. Bows detract from an arrangement, that the arrangement should stand on its own without a big ribbon or bow in it. Other people like that added just final touch in a design. It really depends on the style of the design, your own personal taste. You do not very often in a flower show see ribbons. They're considered an accessory, and they really do have to blend in with the design to not to be considered something that detracts from a design. But when you're doing stuff for fun, it doesn't matter. You can add whatever you want. You may have some little ornaments at home that are special to you that you'd like to display at Christmas. This is a lovely way to do it. I don't know whether I have any little elves, but I will look and see if I have a little elf that could go onto this runner. So the idea with the bows is pick a color that blends well. If bows aren't your thing, don't worry about it. Don't add them. Even without the bows, the designs look lovely. But there's something at Christmas time about having bows on things that just kind of appeals.
Catherine, on
How are we
mute.
doing?
Catherine.
Any questions on bows?
Yes.
There, sorry, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Penny, could you show that once more? I am having a real trouble. If you could come close.
Okay. I'll come a bit closer.
Thank you.
Let me just find another piece of. Maybe I'll use the gold ribbon. Don't put things in your mouth, Penny. The idea is to take your piece of ribbon and roughly in half. Doesn't have to be exact. Hold it with one finger. And then you're going to bend the ribbon and make a little loop. and then you bend it back. Now you've got 2 loops, and you just keep going back and forth, making loops and holding it in between your fingers. Does that help? So you end up with a little bunch of loops going back and forth, and your fingers are holding it in place, and then you carefully pinch with your fingers. Find the piece of wire. Okay. Okay, find another piece of wire. Take your piece of wire, and your wire is going to go where your fingers are holding. And you're going to twist the wire on itself and twist inward so that the wire becomes the holding point. And you just twist in and twist in, like so. Does that help?
Yep.
And it's practice. I've been making bows for like 30 years, so I have a slight advantage. Okay. So does everybody have one bow, 1 or 2 bows made? Good, good. Well, now the idea is let's put our flowers in. We'll set our bows to one side. We'll consider the bows the final touch. I just wanted to show you how to make them. Everybody has some carnations. Combination of red and white because I could not get all red. Again, supply chain issue. Guess I should have ordered them special in advance, but I didn't. So you're going to want 5 or 6 inches of stem. The trick with carnations is never cut them at a node. If you look at a carnation, carnations have these nodes. Always cut above or below a node. If you cut at the node, the water won't carry up the carnations and they will basically fade very quickly. So always trim your carnations above or below the nodes. If you get a bouquet of carnations, give them a clean cut, always above or below where the leaf nodes come out. So we're going to cut a few flowers, and we're going to basically do the same thing that we did with the little ornaments. Is we're going to add 3 to 5 flowers to each one in a pleasing pattern. I'm going to mix the white and the red together here. There we go. And I'm just going to tuck them down in just far enough that they're going to reach the water. Don't make them too short. You want to leave some that are up a little bit so there's a little bit of height. And that's the beauty of the chicken wire. If it won't fit in one spot, just keep trying because there's another spot in the chicken wire that no doubt it will fit in. So we're just going to go around and add 3 to 5 blooms to each one. And like I said, these should last a week to 10 days. If in the evening you have someplace cool that you can put the arrangements, they will last longer. No doubt about it. If you have a cool room that you can tuck them in. they'll last a lot longer. And with a design like this, you really only need 2 or 3 stems of carnations to actually do a design. So again, it's not an expensive design. You're not buying expensive flowers. Carnations are underrated because carnations last. Carnations are one of the longest lasting flowers, and they're good value for what you get. They come in a variety of colors. Little buds. You can use the little buds. Just add them in. And when you add the flowers in, you're adding another form of color and you're adding another shape to your design. Because your eye is going to look for different shapes, different colors, different textures, smooth, shiny. So we're just going to add a few little flowers in here. As many as you think does a nice job of making it look good. I have run out of red carnations, so I guess I'm going to put a few more whites in this one. A little white in there. There we go. So basically, wherever you're sitting at the table, you should see a bit of color, a bit of glitter. You're looking down at it. It should seem a pleasing combination. You'll see the greenery, see the flowers, see the little bits of glitter. Now, there's other things that you likely have around the house that would go nicely. Sprigs of things in a design at Christmas time. Rosemary. This is some rosemary. If you have sage, you could add, this is just some extra ideas. If you add a little bit of rosemary, a little sprigs of sage, it will give the designs a little bit of a scent, which is nice. If you happen to have ferns, if you happen to grow ferns, I happen to have some Boston ferns that reside in one of my spare rooms. My son's room has been overtaken by Boston fern plants. So you could find little snippets around the house to add in. Like I said, the herbs do give it a nice touch, and you could even get a little package of herbs at the grocery store, like sage or rosemary to add in. Ivy, if you happen to grow ivy, I've got a couple of ivies kicking around the house that every year get straggly by the end of the year, and then I put them back outside. So I thought, well, why not? You could have holly and ivy in a design, very Christmassy. So those are just a few other things that I didn't include in the packages, but that I know most of you, being gardeners, likely have herbs, ferns, and ivies around that you could add. Another idea, cinnamon sticks. You basically just take a couple of little cinnamon sticks, put a piece of wire on them to hold them together. So there's a couple little cinnamon sticks. I put a piece of wire and then I've put a little piece of ribbon on it. And then I'll trim the tails of the ribbon off. But you just basically take 2 cinnamon sticks and wire them together. And the scent of cinnamon to me is very Christmassy. So your little cinnamon sticks, you could just even tuck in the top here so they're sticking out a little bit. And that would give it a little bit of a scent, a Christmassy scent. So there's a couple of little cinnamon sticks. Wrap a little piece of wire around the wire. The ribbon covers up that wire. These can also be added. These are also adding little bunches of cinnamon sticks and things to door wreaths or door swags. Will give them a little bit of a scent too. So when you brush by a door wreath, if there's the little cinnamon sticks, it gives a nice scent. And if you're really, really, really energetic, you sit down with a tangerine and half a cup of whole cloves, and you stick whole cloves in the tangerine until you completely cover the whole tangerine in cloves. The cloves will preserve the tangerine, and you will have a little pomander that you can use over and over again. But let me tell you, I've done that once. Very, very time consuming. But if you're just sitting watching Netflix, you could sit and put cloves in a tiny tangerine. I didn't think any of us wanted to sit and put cloves in tangerines tonight. So we have our little containers with everything in. And really, they look quite lovely, even without the bows. But if you're a bow kind of person, just tuck a little red and white bow in. Or if you're into gold, if gold's your decor, use the gold bows. And the burlap here is just comes on a roll. It's decorative burlap. You can get it with, this one has snowflakes on one side. I think the stuff that you have is plain with a little gold edge. You can just add it as a table runner. You don't have to use it. The idea is with the little table runner, it just kind of gives the design kind of a finish. And lastly, I'm going to add, I'll borrow the string of lights from over here. I'm going to take a little string of lights. And one of the last things that you should find in the bottom of your package somewhere, look up. You should find a little tiny square of burlap that is just big enough to wrap around the light container. And just, you know, you can just put it on with a touch of tape. Anyhow, that just covers up the light box. Here's our lights, our illumination. You tuck your light thing underneath the burlap, and because it's covered in burlap, it shouldn't be very noticeable. And then start and meander your lights around your design. I have 2 sets of designs, so let's meander the lights around. Now you can do it 2 ways. You can meander them this way through the actual design, or depending on where you're going to put this, you may want the lights more down at table level, going around the designs, like so. It's just to create a little bit of light around the design, and your eye, of course, will flow with the light. So there's 2 options there. Put it in the design or around the design. Again, dollar store find. I did find 1 string with little pearls. So you could use even something like that. It works on the same theory. It's just little lights, but they're little, it's a little heavier with little pearls. That kind of thing. And like I said, the gold bows, your choice. You can either dress the designs up with 2 colors of bows or not. I'm just going to add a little gold bow to that just to finish it off. So you should have 3 little designs made in a glass with some baubles and bows, a little bit of Christmas greenery, and you're all ready, set to set your mantle or set your table and be ready to be cheerful and festive. So I hope I have shown you a few little tricks that are helpful. And are there any questions?
If you want to ask a question, unmute yourself, please.
Unmute yourself if you have a question. I'll see if I can answer it.
Some people are still stuffing.
Oh, people are still stuffing things in. Good, good, good. People are still having fun then. Like I said, I have the advantage that I've done this design about 3 times now. So it doesn't take nearly as long. After you've done it once, doing it the 2nd and 3rd time becomes much easier. I recommend gloves for chicken wire in order to handle chicken wire without it attacking you. Little pair of wire cutters. If you to cut chicken wire, you need something heavy enough. You don't want to dull your good kitchen scissors cutting chicken wire.
Everybody still looks busy.
Good. Got more bits of glitter here. I'm going to just add a couple of more bits of glitter in. And the elf has very much enjoyed being here tonight. and spreading some Christmas cheer, which is kind of an uncertain time of the year with all the happenings, but hopefully, I'm hoping that everyone has a very happy time over the holidays.
Catherine has set her display for you.
Okay, oh, lovely, lovely. Yeah, set your displays up and I will go on to gallery here so I can see everybody's lovely displays. Oh, beautiful, Catherine. Looks lovely. Oh, I can see Marianne's. Oh, Gwen's holding a lovely one up. Oh, that's lovely. Oh, good. And Mariah's looks delightful. Ah, see? Oh, there's Roberta and company. It looks like the whole gang are having fun over at Roberta's. And Kim. We don't have Kim on video, but I'm hoping she's seeing ours. Great.
Joan's done.
Oh, Joan's done. Oh, lovely, Kim. Oh, see. Oh, Joan's got hers all done. I mean, everybody's tables are going to be decked out. How are you coming, Linda? Can I hold one up and let me see? Let me see part of the design there, Linda. Oh, wonderful.
Kate,
Oh.
you need to get closer.
Oh, Kate, come on in a little closer. Oh, lovely. I like that. I like that. A little bit of glitter, some flowers. Great fun. Great fun. Okay. Oh, there's Jordan. Lovely. Lovely. I actually think I kind of like the combination of red and white rather than just plain red. I think the two colors maybe makes it pop a little bit more. Lovely. Oh, wonderful. Oh. Well, I'm hoping everyone has enjoyed themselves.
I'd say we're done as well, Penny, if you want to
Okay.
check out.
Oh, okay. Let's
if you
check
can
out the
see-
table. Oh, there we go. There's the
Can you
table
see?
for Roberta's. Very
There's
nice.
Barb's and mine and
Lovely.
Agnes's.
Oh, good.
Agnes even managed a bow.
Oh, there you go. It's all practice. You just have to repeat it. It's like anything else in life. It's a lot easier after you practice. And the whole idea behind doing these workshops is to give you some sort of tips on how to do it, how to make it easy. And we do this in April and in September every year. We get together as a group called Floral Arts, and we try a different type of design. And it's a little hands-on workshop, and you get to learn specific designs that you can use at home or enter in flower shows. So stay tuned. We'll have a date in April, and we'll do another little kind of workshop like this. Or if there's some topic that people would really like to learn about in terms of design, just let myself or Joan know, and we'll see what we can do. We have some great designers in the Gan Hortsock, and I know we can tap into them to help teach. But playing with flowers is such fun. It's very therapeutic.
Very therapeutic. It is. This was lovely, Penny. Thank you so much.
Oh, well, thank you for joining in, and we really appreciate the number of people who participated tonight. This is the most people we have ever had. Having
wow.
17 people.
Wow, great turnout.
Are participating. We've got multiple groups in a couple of places. So I'm so glad that people made the effort, and I hope you all got some festive fun out of it. And let's hope we can get together soon. Maybe not as soon as we would like, but let's get together soon and have some more fun with flowers.
Thank you,
Terrific.
Penny.
Thank
Just
you.
wonderful.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays, everyone.
Happy
Cheers.
Happy
holidays.
holidays.
Lovely.
Bye.
Thank
Merry
you, Penny.
Christmas.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Elf Penny.
Yes.
Go ahead,
Elf
Mary
Penny
Ann.
here.
Thank you, Elf Penny.
Thanks, Penny.
Hi,
Okay,
Joan.
most welcome. It's always great fun.
Thanks for all the work.
And thanks, Howard, for recording this. And Jordan, thanks in advance for tidying this up and putting it on YouTube so others can